I'm Christian Lamichka for Country Music News International. Today on the show we have Pete Kennedy. Pete, welcome to Country Music News International.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here. It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
Pete, can you please introduce yourself to our readers who might be hearing about you for the first time?
Yes, my name is Pete Kennedy. I'm from Ireland. I'm from a small town in Ireland. I've been involved in country music for the last 4 or 5 years now. I only started concentrating on writing my own music in the last 2 years, and it's been very successful for me. I came to Nashville for the first time last November, and I represented Ireland on the International Showcase, which is the night before the CMA Awards in November, and that was the real kick-off to my career for me. Before that, I had been doing little shows here and there, as we all do when we're starting to break ground. And the reason I got to Nashville was because I wrote a song called Yellow. And I had been sending it around to some radio stations and different things, getting it evaluated and asking DJs' opinions on it. And Mr. Lee Williams from CMR Nashville called me up and invited me to represent Ireland on the International Showcase. So since that happened, I've got a record deal with KEMC Records from the UK, and I have been recording in Nashville and playing some shows here since then. And we have had on the Hot Disc country charts, I have had 3 hits on that. So it's been really good. It's been really
cool.
Good. Yeah.
How would you describe the music you are playing?
I would describe the music that I'm playing. Obviously, I write 90% of what I do, so it's heartfelt, it's me, it's about different people around me and the experiences that I've had over life. I personally, as a person, I've had a pretty tough childhood. If you go on and you read my bio, we had a lot of tragedy and stuff over the years, and it's kind of driven me on, if that makes sense. It's made me tougher, it's made me more determined to get where I need to go. It's modern feel country, okay? It's not the older traditional country like the Johnny Cash. It's probably more in the line maybe of, I don't know, Kenny Chesney, Keith Urban. It's been comparable to Rascal Flatts, that type of stuff. And Nashville Sessions Volume 1 we recorded in January, and that's been doing really well. And just 2 weeks ago I came into town here in Nashville again, and we finished recording Nashville Sessions Volume 2, and we've got some really cool tunes on there, because what I'd done is I collaborated with writers on that. I was here before we came back in April into May, and I have tracks on that I co-wrote with Jan Buckingham, who is an ex-Grammy nominee who wrote songs. She hits for Whitney Houston, Pam Tillis, Barry White. She's had some real big hits. I've also written a song with Ayla Brown, who was a semi-finalist from American Idol Season 5, and she has agreed to do a duet on the album with me, and it's called Gotta Do What's Right. It's number 6, and it'll be on iTunes in the next month or so, and we're really happy with that. So it's kind of blending in, I suppose, commercially with what's there, but it does have a lot of the traditional in it, because I'm from Ireland. 300 years ago, all my people came here. They brought the fiddles, the violins, the mandolins up into the hills here in Nashville, Tennessee, and that was the real start to country music here, and we're essentially very much a part of what has been done. So I've kept on most of the tracks. It's very strong with fiddle, mandolin. We've got bazooka on one of them. So I'm trying to keep the old thing there as well, without being too commercial, if that makes sense. So we're very pleased, and it's getting good reviews. You know.
What was the first lesson you had to learn here really quick?
The first lesson I had to learn here really quick, I found that I gelled in here so quickly, because Nashville, it's like a second home, and you come here and people are so accepting here. If they like what you do, and they like your sound, and they like what you're writing, and we don't have so much of that back home. Do you know what I mean? It's people are great, but the country music in Ireland is a little bit different to what it is here, you know. And for me to be able to adjust to that was a big lesson for me, to be able to switch and to understand how much people are on your side here if they like what you're doing, you know. And it's just phenomenal. It's unbelievable, you know. That was a big thing. And hospitality, everything is just, it's incredible. It's really cool, you know. That was it. The biggest thing was, probably guitar playing would not be my strongest point. I'm perfectly good to accompany myself solo or whatever, but the level of talent with the musicians here, I just find it's mind-blowing, you know. It's unbelievable. That was the big lesson, you know. In the studio was a big lesson when I went in there, because it was so different to what I had been doing before that. That was the real big one.
Describe it a little bit more.
Yeah, well, When you do some recording at home, okay, you go in, and in most of the recording studios back in Ireland, you go in, you put down drums first, okay, and then you come back and you put down bass, you put it over, and then it's kind of done in a situation where it's one instrument at a time, and it goes on forever and a day. Whereas here, you go into a professional studio here, all your musicians come in, they sit in the cutting room, you've got your drummer, you've got your bass player, you've got your lead guitarist, you've got your rhythm guitarist, you've got your fiddle player, banjo player, piano player, all together, one go, okay? I sit down in the middle of all the guys. I've had Gordon Moat is featured on the album, Wanda Vick, Tommy Wells, who are all incredible players, and they're featuring a lot of stuff around here. They sit me in the middle of the studio with my guitar and they say, hey Pete, play me the song that we're going to cut right now. And this is genuine, this is how it happens, it's incredible. And I start playing the song I've wrote, and they all sit there and they're sitting down with their music charts and they're writing down their 1, 5, 6, 8, and that's it the whole way down. We go into the studio, I go into the singing booth, they all take their, and that song is cut in one go. It's unbelievable.
Folks, that you have a little bit a better understanding. In Europe, we are writing notes, and in Nashville, they write numbers. So that's, for me, what was the first, when I hear that, it was unbelievable. That they play by numbers.
Right.
So I say, okay, well, you don't have to understand notes, you have just a number, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, fanfare. Oh, CMA Music Festival, sorry folks.
Yeah. Wow. That's all I can say. It's been incredible. It's my first CMA Fest to be involved in here, and I'm just blown away because it's a different world. It's totally different. The streets out there are chaotic. There's just thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there. And I've played so many shows. I played the Global show on Tuesday night at Second Fiddle, which was astonishing. It went out on live stream all over the world and on CMA World. On Wednesday, I've played in Hard Rock, which the Manuel Corcher, who is a very historic part of music here in Nashville, and I played for part of his show, which again was streamed live in France, and that was part of Dream West TV. It was also in association with I'll Fly Away Foundation, which is a charity, very worthwhile charity. So I played on that as well, and the response has just been incredible. You know, I've got was at some parties, pre-parties on that, and I've got on Billboard. Carried out an interview on Sunday night. That's been published, which is awesome. You know, that's pretty cool to get on that. There's just so much happening this week. I've got presented with a letter of recognition and a good luck letter from the Conal in the Irish Association in Atlanta at the Second Fiddle. So that knocked me for six. There's just so much stuff happening. And yesterday I was invited down to the Nashville City Museum, where I got presented with another recommendation and acceptance letter from the Nashville Museum, welcomed me in through my Irish roots and through everything that's happened, and that was presented to me yesterday, and I got a tour of the Nashville Museum, which has just been incredible. So I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. You know, it's awesome. So CMA Fest 2012 for me is going to be a very memorable one. You know. So
if fans like to find out now more information about you, what's the best deal?
The best deal is www.petekennedy.net, and you will be able to watch where I'm going on tour. Anybody in Europe will be able to catch me. I open for Neil Sedaka starting in October on the UK tour. So if you go onto my website, all the dates are on there, so you'll be able to check in, and they're all that's going to be super cool. And when that finishes, I straight away go on tour with the Stylistics. So I'm opening for them in the UK as well. So I have something like 30 dates between the two artists that I'm opening for. This brings me right up to Christmas. So if you go on there, you can also check me on Facebook.com Pete Kennedy Music. So that would be the two best sections to find me on. So
if you'd like to find out more information about Pete, stay here at Country Music News International or check out one of his websites or social networks. He will answer all your questions. If we can't answer the questions you asking us about him, but we do our best. And again, check out his websites.
And thank you so much for the coverage you've given me, press releases and everything. It's been so good. I really appreciate that, and your show is awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one.